Hi everybody. Monday the 8th September, evening time. It's about 7:15 I think now, something like that. I've just come away from the hospital. Angie's fast asleep now. She's been alright. Well, it's been a decent day today, to be honest. Well, considering how it is. Because yesterday, I went back yesterday morning. I was there back at the hospital for 7:30, even though I was told visiting time is 10 in the morning till 8 at night. But it seems I can go more or less any time. I wasn't told about that really, so yesterday morning I went straight in. I just took a chance really and went up and like I say, I got about 8 o'clock. I went and had a coffee first and then went in about 8 o'clock. Just gone 8 o'clock when they let me in. She'd had a good night, nothing untoward. She'd got on a nil by mouth, so they had her on drips and what have you to keep her strength and a fluid intake up. I'm reading a bit because I wrote a few things down because it's that much I forgot a lot of it, you see. Sleeping all day until the afternoon when granddaughter and one of the grandsons turned up. And she said, Angie, Cordelia and Harley's here, Angie. And she just opened her eyes and looked at them both. Left them open for a while and then went back to sleep again. And then after they'd gone, I thought I'll go and get me some tea, I'll go in the restaurant. But 5:30 when they come round, doing the meals in the ward, you have to get off unless you're involved in feeding whoever you're visiting. So I thought, well, I'll go and get some tea in the restaurant. 2 o'clock on a Sunday it shuts. I thought, my bloody luck lately. So I ended up with sandwiches. So I actually went in. I know I'm laughing now because I'm more relaxed now. And things are okay and on the mend. So I went from the closed restaurant into the M&S food hall, and luckily the chap was putting all the reduced stickers on the sandwiches that was all, that's yesterday's date on. So I got three lots of double sandwiches for $5 and sat and stuffed my face with them yesterday because that's all I'd had all day. I got myself a drink while I was there, then went back up ward to see her. Got back home here, I'm not sure, I can't think now, maybe 8:30ish, something like that. Can't remember. Got my shower and made another sandwich. Just had a quick chat with Mr. Daniels, a very quick one and all, and then shower and bed, and I was in bed for 10:15 I think. And I never opened the night. It was 6:15 when I got up this morning, when I woke up. So I slept right the way through, so that was a proper 8 hours sleep. Obviously much needed. So straight in the shower, a quick brew, and off I went again this morning. And I was on the ward this morning for 7:30. A fella come round giving breakfast out. Angie again, she'd been okay all during the night, and she was still asleep, so she didn't know whether even that I'd gone. So the fella giving her breakfast and teas out got me a cup of coffee and a couple of slices of toast. So that was all right. So that got me a bit of something this morning. Then got a call off Lucy, the Macmillan nurse. Michael, she's in hospital. Are you staying all day? So I said, oh yeah, I'll be here till after tea. She said, right, I'll come over. So she'd come over and she turned up about 2:30ish, maybe 3 o'clock. Had a right good chat with me, proper good chat, as a Macmillan nurse as well. So I put her arm on my shoulder type of a chat as well. And then she went over a few things. She said, like, people in Angie's situation, not just for Parkinson's, but in life-limiting, illnesses and diseases, should we say, when they have a setback, like Angie's had a setback at weekend, it's very, very rare that they recover and go back into the spot where they was before they had the setback. They're always a couple of steps further down the line. So don't be surprised if Angie now starts spending a lot more time in bed, like she's doing now, just laying in bed sleeping. So just get prepared for something like that, she says. I mean, I did say don't underestimate Angie's courage and strength, because it wouldn't surprise me, it would not surprise me if we sat in a cafe having a latte in 2 weeks' time. That's the type of woman she is and was. But I took it on board what she was going on about. And then she went down the route of, do you want me to sort out, what's going to happen if and when they let Angie out? They've got to wait for the doctor to come and give her like a fit to go thing. So I said, yeah, please, like what? So well, the first scenario is, you can take her from here, to like a nursing home where she'll get all the same what she's getting now, all the care and the attention and the medication, and you can just do like what you're doing now, come and sit with her and do whatever. Or you can plump like for option 2, which will be, having more carers coming round, say 4 times a day, 7 days a week, and doing everything like the nurses are doing here now, washing, dressing, or even feeding her. So I plumped for that, obviously. I said, well, I can't go from here to a nursing home. I said, and she said, no, most people are the same. It's hard, So I plumped for that. So it cheered me up as well, even though it's going to take a lot of rearranging to have carers coming 4 times a day. How long are they here, etc. I know I'm jumping the gun. I need to, wait till she's ready for coming home and then start asking all these questions. But I was really, again, after speaking with her, she, like she did last week, a big weight lifted off my shoulders, like it did when I met her last week. So I think it's just the way they are. There's just something about them. She's getting somebody from a counselling that they work with to give me a ring, just to see if I fancy, doing out like that. And I did say, I do a thing here on TikTok and YouTube that I find is like my counselling. She said, well, let them ring you. Let them ring you. You can always say no, or you can try it and say no, or you can try it and say, that's not bad. I'll carry on with it. So I said, okay, let them ring me. And let them see what they say first before I make a decision. Just being old school and, and a dinosaur. Counselling's not for me type of thing. So, yeah. So I'm mellowing in my old age. Yeah. So my mind's, I can't think of. There's all sorts. The Saltine come out. That's right. Yeah, because she'd been nil by mouth. So the one at Saltine come out, only a young girl, I forgot her name now. It doesn't matter. And she, would run through some tests with her, and you could try to do a bit of this and a bit of that, and nothing was happening. So she tried it a bit with a bit of chocolate custard type thing, just because it was nice and runny but thick enough. And Angie took it. She took about 4 spoonfuls, teaspoonfuls. So she was dead pleased about that, the Saltine woman. But water, tried to with spoonfuls of water, no chance. And like I said, well, that's where the issue is. She'll take the water in the mouth, but then leave it in her mouth. It'll either come back out, or she'll just gulp it in one big dollop. Sorry, that's the sun shining right through the window, and that's where and then trying to get the capsule in as well. So she went off and she come back with something you put in the water or the tea, and it thickens it up. So try that. So Angie did take some of the thickened water. It's hard to explain what my thickened water means, but you know, it's slightly thicker. It's not like a soup or nothing, but it doesn't look very appealing. Anyway, well, she took some of that. So she said, well, you can put this in tea as well, you know, or in juices and stuff. So she's got some of that organised for me to start using. And then the sister on the ward came over and tried Angie with a capsule. I said, what's that for? She said, it's one of her Parkinson's capsules. I'm going to see how. Anyway, right rigmarole. Same thing, spoonful of water, spoonful of the thickened water. Open your mouth, and she won't open her mouth properly. Oh, it's still there, it's in the back of you, and it's behind your tongue. And, you know, a good 10, 12 minutes before she finally, I said, well, no. She said, no, I know what you mean. She said, right, you know, leave it on the patches. Because she'd had another patch the night before. And then I said to Lucy, the Macmillan nurse, I said, regarding the medication, can these patches thing be done for future reference where I don't have to start? She said, yep, that's on my list. I'll go and sort that out for you now. Anyway, so she was gone a good 20-25 minutes. When she came back, she said, right, I've sorted it all out with the ward sister and such a body else who I need to bring. So she got that person to come down. So they have got a bit of clout. So she got there and they had a little meeting in the room. So I've got the care plan. It's all going to be put in place now. So you're going to care this 4 times a day to do what Angie's having done to her now, and your patches. I just said, well, why aren't the patches given out? It's just like that. It's down to money, so they must be a lot expensive. But anyway, it saves me a right headache. The other tablets and whatever she's on, at least they can all be crushed and mixed in with the food or the yogurts and stuff, which will be takes that massive worry off me then about the swallowing and getting a load of fluid in the back of my throat and then having to swallow it all. So that was a massive relief, real big relief. I forgot loads. The day's been that long and there's that much going on. But during all this, Angie's more or less slept again all day. Okay, she opened her eyes at one point. I said, Angie, come and open your eyes. And she opened them. She left them open for a good 20 minutes. I just kept chatting to her. I kept getting the thumbs up. And even sometimes when the nurses were coming around, right, Angie, every 2 hours, they was turning her, moving her around. Right, Angie, come on, the nurses are here. Gives a thumbs up. And a slight thumbs up then. So she wasn't asleep all day, but sleepy. Her eyes were shut. And then once she'd had her all for the dinner, the sister fed her. And she had a full tub of soup, 80% of her vegetable lasagna, and a bit of custard afterwards. So she was very pleased with it, the sister. So well, I'll give her a tea. So when a tea turned up, same thing. It was soup. But it was all blended, like a pre-blended meal, like a blob of mash, blob of carrots, and I forgot what the main part was. It wasn't lasagna because she had that for the dinner. Anyway, so she ate all the soup, some of the mash, some of the carrots, and only a little bit of whatever the main was. But it was just like lumps of mashed up food. So when how's she done? So could they write it all down? I said, when you think about it, I said, she's not had out to eat since Friday. She Saturday morning, I think, Saturday morning she had her egg for her breakfast. I said, so it's a lot. I said, and she's had a lot at lunchtime now. I said, and so at least, so she said, no, exactly, that's it. But I'm still got to write it down. So at morning, she'll get a blended breakfast again at morning. So that's something I've really got to get to grips with now. The Salt Woman's giving me a diet sheet and do's and don'ts and how to and how not to. I don't know if you can buy these blended meals or not. I don't know. Again, questions to be asked near the time when she's due out. And then if not, I'll have to buy myself a proper blender and not use that NutriBullet thing. Yeah, so I'm just, like I said, questions to be asked near the time she's coming out, but just questions in my mind now. So yeah, overall today's been pretty good. She's not been allowed out yet. The Salt Team woman's coming back on Wednesday. So we know she's definitely until at least Wednesday. She's been for another CT scan late tonight, just before I've left. I waited for her to come back and just sat with her for half an hour, and then again she was asleep. I said, right, Angie, I'm just going to get off. I just said, I'm going to nip home, get a shower, something to eat, and I'll be back in a couple of hours. And the guy's got a little thumbs up. And I'm done now. I'm going to get my shower and get something to eat and have a little chat with Mr. Daniels, I think, and then get another early night while I can, and get up, and I'll get back over there again for 7:30 in the morning. Yeah, so I'm more upbeat today, more upbeat and more pleased about what's gone on. But it was frightening Saturday night and Sunday. It was, I'm not going to beat about the bush. I did fear the worst, because even the Dr. Jack, whatever he's called, and even he said, be prepared. You might lose it today. That's when he talks about the do not resuscitate thing. Angie, being the fighter as she is, looks like she's coming out now the other end again. So that's the woman. That's the woman. The fight's still left in the woman. She won't go down without a fight. Right, so I'm going to get off. Do another one. This has been a long one. I'm getting tired now, so I'll do what I'm doing. The only good point today, I've got to finish with a bit of a laugh, a bit of a joke. I've sent a couple of texts out to all family. I'm not hiding the fact that I said the only good thing that's come out of today is I went for some dinner in the restaurant in the hospital, and I had tomato and basil pasta with chips, apple crumble, and a cappuccino, all for £6.70. What a deal that is. Nice food as well, not just, cheap food. It was nice, proper food, nice restaurant, knives and forks, lovely layout. I said, I'm thinking of choking Angie once a fortnight so I can go and do it again. Right, I'm going to leave you on that one. Right, I hope that's made you chuckle after me waffling on like that. And thank you all for all your comments and inquiring how's she doing. So I hope you all get to listen to this, and I'll do another one tomorrow. So as per usual, now you take care now. Bye.